Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Teresa Dale, and you are on Natural Health Radio. Today is New Year's Eve. We are climbing into and flowing into 2020, and this is going to be the best year ever because we have so many people that want to help the planet through some difficult areas, whether it's environmentally. We have the Environmental Working Group. We have so many people that are looking out for humanity. And I know on most shows you hear all about everything that is wrong, okay, and no one offers solutions, or very few people offer real solutions, and we are not the beat up the world media. We are the media that finds solutions. And although we have healthcare issues that God knows I've talked about for years, we have healthcare issues, okay? We also have solutions and people that want to really help. And today, for you, I brought a friend of mine who is running for Congress. And I know you've heard me say I don't trust politicians, no matter the party, okay? And this is the one exception. And we are bringing him on today to talk with you about healthcare, to talk with us about evolving healthcare, about natural healthcare, and how we can make it happen. So we want to introduce you to Mark Gonzalez. And are you there,
Hi,
Mark?
Dr. Dale.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Hey, you know what? I don't trust the politicians either. That's why I'm running.
I know. That's exactly why Mark is running for Congress. And this is your first attempt, right?
It is.
And I think the attempt has valor. It's done for the right reason. And I think everybody needs to know about you. So we want to talk about the way that healthcare is today. And I have talked about this so much, and the way we're treated in hospitals and our entire healthcare system that needs to be evolved to include natural medicine, to allow people to heal naturally, whether you're in the hospital or out. You know, I think that we have the traditional medicine, all of the traditional medicine folks.
Yeah, it's a co-opt word, though, isn't it?
It is,
so
and
they call themselves traditional medicine. There's nothing traditional about it.
It's
It
great.
basically is an opaque cartel that is now causing tremendous harm, not just in regard to the outcomes, but also the economic outcomes. We're bankrupting families all over this country based on traditional medicine and the insurance practices that go along with it.
And, you know, given that there are over 785 medical mistakes that lead to and include death in this United States that are caused from death, and that is according to the American Iatrogenesis Association. So we would save thousands
of... I tweeted out, this goes back a few months ago now,
mm-hmm.
a tweet, and the headline of the tweet was, "Medical errors are now the third leading cause of death in the United States of America."
Right.
And it wasn't from some far-right publication on the Internet. It was U.S. News and World Report.
Right.
And boy, did people weigh in on that. They were shocked to believe it because, you know, we brainwashed the American public. Doctor knows best, safe and effective. I go, no. Not always safe, not always effective.
And it's so very true. And people don't hear what you just said on mainstream media, really. I mean,
hey,
we have...
Think about it.
Yes.
Television, the networks, which are now only 5, control over 95% of the communication that you get.
Right.
So they're their own cartel.
Right.
But that's $6 billion worth of big pharma advertising.
Right, and that is...
And New Zealand are the only two countries that allow direct-to-consumer advertising by Big Pharma. We've created literally a nation of hypochondriacs now. They see what's on TV. They go, hey, you know what? I got some of those symptoms. They run down to their doctor. Hey, I need XYZ drug.
Right.
It's unbelievable.
And if insurance will pay for it and it's free versus them being exposed to and educated about natural medicine, they're going to go oftentimes with what's free because they're not educated on TV. There's no other choice. And, I thought this was a country where we had choices. We do in so many areas, but not in healthcare.
And the government, Congress has played right along with them. If you consider the billions of dollars that have lined the pockets of our current politicians, that's why I've been very vocal. Matter of fact, for your listeners who want to know a little bit more about me, they could go to markcongress2020.com. markcongress2020.com. I'm running in Georgia's 7th District, which is a Atlanta suburb. We have a retiring congressman this election cycle, so it's a very active primary on both sides of the aisle. I'm more conservative in nature, which, plays into the medical debate as well as our debt deficits and spending, which is a big part of it for me. But if they were to go on there, they could literally, Dr. Dale, watch a 30-minute broadcast right on my website. It runs here on NBC, Fox, CBS, to educate the voters in my district about my campaign, but they can watch it right on the homepage of my website. And I talk a lot about health care, and I also talk a lot about the opioid crisis.
Yep,
and
it's a very big deal.
These are big problems. I think of the work that you've done over all these years in your own life story, which, I'm sure your audience is quite familiar with, but, to believe that we're going to mask symptoms and magically you're going to be fixed and you're going to be cured it never made sense to me. It never made sense to me.
Right. I mean, traditional medicine doesn't make sense unless you're in an emergency. And I would say that emergency docs are great mechanics. They're great at sewing an arm back. They're great at helping you in an emergency situation. Fantastic. All right. But as far as degenerative disease, as far as the issues that people face on a daily basis and the diagnosis that they're given, they can't cure anything because it's not designed to cure. It's designed to keep you hooked into buying the drugs. And, I think that's an important thing because traditional medicine does cure because it involves body, mind, spirit. Body, mind, very, very important.
Right. When we all remember back when the Ice Bucket Challenge became popular, and of course the 10K races and wearing the pink ribbon and so forth, and people would ask me, Dr. Dale, they would say, hey, aren't you going to go on that 10K run? Aren't you going to put the pink ribbon on? Aren't you going to? I go, no. They go, well, don't you want to find a cure to these things? I said, no. What I'm interested in is finding the cause. Because
right.
if you found the cause, by definition, you would have the cure.
Yes.
But for me to believe that a magic pill is suddenly going to take care of it, I'm just not quite of that mindset. Let me be nice, I'll say it that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they're designed to keep taking forever or, until you die. I mean, it's just the way it is. Now, tell me, Mark, what is so different? What solutions do you offer up on this topic in your campaign, which is focused on healthcare? Tell me what you want to do.
Both sides of the aisle, Dr. Dale. They're talking about repeal and replace. They're talking about single payer. They're talking about Medicaid. And obviously those things should be discussed at the table, so I'm not dismissive. But we will never fix our healthcare system until we bring pricing transparency to healthcare.
Right. It's
Let's
true.
Shed light on who is charging who for what. Will the marketplace finally be able to do what it does best, and that is use tenets of America's exceptionalism, which is free market. It creates competition. It drives prices down. It improves quality. So that's part A. And then part B is I think the toolbox that we use to address healthcare needs to be fully opened.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about traditional medicine being the only voice at the table. I believe that there are all sorts of different approaches to health and wellness that should get their fair due as well. You know, you look at other parts of the country, or other parts of the world, and doctors are not restricted like they are here as a traditional, quote-unquote, medical doctor. They use whatever tool they think is in the toolbox that's right for the patient.
Right, and
that's how it should be here.
And, you know, being someone who has been to Europe and been to hospitals in Europe to observe the way that they treat patients and what they offer, their mission is to get the patient better because it's government run. And the quicker you get the patient better and out of the hospital, that's when you won't spend at like Venezuela. You have to have natural medicine to make it cost effective. So when a person goes into a hospital in France, Germany, Switzerland, you get offered homeopathic medicine. You will get offered reflexology. You will get offered things that can help the circulation. You will get offered a good diet. It's like the one number most important thing. And look at what the people in the hospital are fed today. It's just disgusting. And
it's incredible. And you know, you go there, you see the vending machines, for crying out loud. I'm thinking, what is a vending machine? Why would we have vending machines in a hospital? Really? A person's going to buy Doritos and Cokes, and I'm like, come on now. That is insane that we do this. But again, we're willing to constantly put profit over people in this country.
And that includes products and food that people are served in hospitals that contain genetically modified organisms, that contain sugar, coloring, toxicity. And when you're very, very vulnerable and your immune system is challenged, that's the last thing you should put in your body. The last thing.
I'm sure you have a pretty strong opinion on high fructose corn syrup too.
Oh, yeah.
I've always felt like that is a big contributor.
It is. It is a big contributor. It should be outlawed. You know, and there's certain.
And by the way, you mentioned the emergency room earlier.
Yeah.
You know, and here's the thing: what people are starting to wake up to is this whole sinister activity of surprise billing. A person goes into an emergency room. They're vulnerable. That's why they went to an emergency room, right? They walk in, they hand the person at the admissions their insurance card, they fill out whatever forms, and they, next thing you know, are being counseled by the doctor on call that day, and they're finding out they need this and that and the other, and of course they're going to go through all those tests and procedures. Mm-hmm. And then they end up with a surprise bill, because all those procedures were what's called out-of-network. So their insurance didn't cover it.
Right.
And this is unbelievable what's gone on. It's now estimated that it's $40 billion, with a B, $40 billion worth of additional expense that patients absorb thanks to surprise billing, and they have no transparency.
How would you
so
resolve that?
When they get home, they get the bill in the mail 3-4 weeks later.
Right.
And they find out, oh my gosh, look at this! I got a $7,000 bill. I hear it all across my district because people know I'm the healthcare guy, really advocating for change and transparency, a variety of different approaches to health and wellness, not just singular approach to traditional medicine. So people, they reach out to me when I'm in public. And I hear story after story. The woman who worked at the little eatery I was at one night up in the northern part of my district, she heard me talking to the group, and afterwards, as we were getting ready to leave that little eatery, she said, "Hey, do you mind if I ask you a question?" I said, "Sure." She said, "Would you be willing to hear my story about my own health care issue?" I said, "Surely, bring it on. I'm very interested to hear." She said, "Well, I work here, and I don't have insurance." She said, "So I come home from my shift, and it's, in the evening like it is tonight, and my son is complaining of some significant stomach pain. And I don't really know what to do, so I figure, well, I guess I should drive him over to the emergency room. She says, I drive him to the emergency room. The doctor takes a quick look at him and says, oh, no. What he's got is he's got a pretty bad case of gas. So, just let him sweep it off, and he'll be better in the morning. She says, fair enough. So she drives home with her son, and sure enough, the next morning he was good to go. Well, 4 weeks later, she got a bill in the mailbox for $8,000, Dr. Dale. I call it the $8,000 gas bill.
Yeah,
and I hear about this stuff all the time
Not
now.
funny.
She goes, well, how am I going to pay for this? I can't pay for this.
Well,
So now the credit collection agencies start calling, and the credit gets destroyed, and we think that's perfectly okay when she had no idea what any of this was going to cost her. That's not fair.
it's not fair, and I just want to say something that it's totally not fair, but the alternative could have been even worse. Let's say she goes to the hospital and they say, oh, he instantly needs surgery because of this,
Right.
this. And then they find out later it was just gas.
Yeah.
And how many times have I heard that story? So
Boy.
I want to know what your ideas are for solving these issues and solving this issue that we face.
Well, first of all, I've got to tell you, we've got to take Congress off of the money trough that represents traditional medicine and big pharma. Because until we start reducing their dependency on special interest in industry money, we're not going to get very far. So it's going to take, my belief, and the hardest question I'm asked out in public is, Mark, you're one person. There's 435 in the House of Representatives in Washington. How are you going to be the guy that actually can make a significant difference? And that's a fair question. That's a reasonable question. And my response is, one person can't change the world, but one person can communicate the message that can change the world.
Right.
And it starts with people like me that are wanting to go to Congress because we want to deliver a country to our next generation, of which I have a daughter who's 19, that's in better shape than the one that was bestowed to us. And it starts by having the courage of your convictions, by being able to say no to ridiculous legislation. We have this surprise billing legislation, H.R. 3630.
Right.
It was supposed to go through with this $1.4 trillion omnibus bill that was just signed in the middle of the night by our president before the country ended up having to close its doors again, right? We're going to have another government shutdown.
And tell me about that. Tell me about that bill.
Yeah. That was very, very interesting. So this is what happened. We had bipartisan support on being able to finally make some progress on surprise billing. It was part of the bill. Right before it went through the House, that particular part got pulled from the omnibus bill because special interests paid over $30 million in advertising, advocating for the status quo, the $40 billion in revenue that this represented. So we got pulled. The person who I believe is the main culprit of why it got pulled is the House Ways and Means Committee chairman, is a person from Massachusetts, which is my former home state. Mm-hmm. He's a Democrat from Massachusetts. Mm-hmm. His name is Dick Neal. Mm-hmm. So your audience can look it up if they want to. They do a deep dive. They'll see what I saw. There's two private equity companies that have infiltrated the emergency rooms, which is creating this out-of-network problem. One of them is called Team Health, and the other one is called Envision. Team Health is owned by the Blackstone Group. Envision is owned by private equity KKR. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So Team Health put $29,000 into Dick Neal's campaign coffers.
I see.
So you're willing to sell out the American public for $40 billion for $29,000.
Yep.
That, to me, is unconscionable. And for me to say it in public like I am, that gives you an idea, and that should give your audience an idea, that there are people like me that are willing to do whatever it takes to do what's right, pay any price to do what's right.
Right, and
you know the price I have to pay by not taking farmer money and being able to be as outspoken as I am, but the time has come.
Right, and to take any money for any amount for this, like such an important part of this bill, okay, is absolutely unconscionable, absolutely just shows you the kind of greed that exists.
Right, these Wall Street guys that destroyed our economy in 2008, 2009 with their synthetic instruments and basically taking the American homeowner for an absolute ride so that they could enjoy all of the trappings of the money that they were able to bring into their coffers at the expense of the American taxpayer and homeowner that watched their values get crushed, bankruptcies happen all over the country. We're going to let those people into health care. Are you kidding me?
Well, I couldn't agree with you more.
And they're in the air ambulance business now, too, by the way.
Yeah.
I just had a friend of mine. His wife went in. She had what was called, what did he call it? He called it a stress. Have you ever heard of this, Dr. Gale? A stress stroke is what they described it as.
Yep.
A stress stroke. So he's a bit older, and his wife's a bit older. And he said, Mark, what they did is after they stabilized her, they airlifted her to the other hospital. I said, do you know if your insurance covered that air ambulance bill? He goes, what do you mean? I go, well, I'm just telling you, over 50% of them are out of network, owned by private equity. You're probably going to get a bill in the mailbox for anywhere from $11,000 to $60,000. He goes, are you serious? I said, I'm very serious. I'm very, very serious. He said, well, I could have put her in my car and got her to the hospital at the same amount of time that the air ambulance took. I said, I'm just preparing you. Hopefully your bill is part of your network and you're good to go, but there's a high probability it's not. He was freaked out, this guy.
So we think are covered when we have to go to the hospital and do things like that for emergency purposes. And here's what I have to say. Make sure you don't have to go, unless, of course, it's an unfortunate accident, but take care of your health, work on optimal wellness. Something called a stress stroke is a little bit of an oxymoron, in my opinion, because stress can cause a stroke, but when you realize you have stress, it's like you've been having stress for a while now, long time, could be years, could be you've done nothing about it. And then your adrenal glands get exhausted and your body can't handle it anymore. So work on the adrenal glands, balance the body, work with the 5-element theory of Chinese medicine by using the homeopathic remedies that I work with. You can help so many different things if you work on your diet. So people are not educated. The solutions that are offered people don't understand what the solutions are because it's out of their control. One thing that's in your control is you can vote for somebody that is going to help you in Congress, okay? That is within your control. But you can't make the bills, you can vote for things, and you can take care of yourself. You're in charge of yourself. So this is the area that you can affect greatly as your optimal wellness. Right, Mark?
Right. We have to return back to a notion of making America healthy again. When I was a kid, healthcare was 5% of GDP. Today, it's almost 20%. Think about that. We have 20% of our economy, a fifth of our economy, outside of free market. That's one of the reasons why this financial structure is so debilitating. When you and I were younger, food represented about 3 times the amount of spending than healthcare.
Right.
So about 16% or so,
right.
Healthcare being 5%.
Right.
The numbers are completely reversed now. Food is like 6 or 7%, and healthcare is almost 20%.
Yeah,
That's not what Hippocrates was talking about when he said, "Let thy food be thy medicine," was it?
right.
He would be rolling over in his grave if he knew that those ratios completely reversed.
We're gonna
I do think that we have to get to a point, because this is unsustainable. The disease is off the charts. You see it even much clearer than I do, Dr. Dale. But from my vantage point, what I do know is this is societally unsustainable. When we have kids now with autism, 1 in 45, when it was 1 in 10,000 not that many years ago, and they're projecting it to be 1 in 3.
And now,
how are we going to take care of people?
And now in Seattle, they're not allowing anybody to go back to school unless they're vaccinated. So they are making it mandatory so much that in January you can't take your kid back to school unless they're vaccinated. And there's no religious exemption.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm very familiar with what happened in Seattle.
Right.
And the amount of brainwashing that takes place.
Right.
It knows no bounds, and you have the parents that are full of rage when they encounter another parent who's chosen not to vaccinate their children, and they go, "You're putting my child at tremendous risk." And of course, the person who's chosen not to vaccinate the children, their comeback, and rightfully so, they say, "Wait a minute, you just said that your child was vaccinated." Yes. Well, then they would be immune. I'm the one that has the child that's at risk. Why would you care? But that argument seems to get lost on the crowd that is just so, they're just so insistent that everyone gets vaccinated, regardless of the consequence.
Right. And
it's not always safe, and it's not always effective. There's just way too many stories to think otherwise.
And so it's very interesting that you running for Congress are against vaccines. That you running
I'm for vaccine choice, right? So
yes.
That's how I would describe it from my side. I'm for vaccine choice. I do have a daughter that was vaccine injured. So I speak to the topic from a little different vantage point than somebody else who hasn't had this challenge. So, you do your homework. That was 15 years ago now, and for my wife and I, it led to an incredible deep dive, an incredible investigation. We traveled down traditional medicine. We saw where that led as an outcome, which was not favorable to our then 5-year-old daughter. And we learned a lot along the way as far as how to treat her condition. She's made massive progress, thank God. But, it's still part of her life. And so I think you should have the right? That's to me, what happened to the Nuremberg Code, right? I mean, we're just going to turn our back on that. Right. So it's vaccine choice.
Right.
If you want to pursue it, fantastic. If
I
you
agree
choose
with that.
to decide that that's not right for your family, then you should not be vilified. You should not have your children taken away from you by Child Protective Services, and you certainly should have access to the type of public education that we provide in this country. That's what I believe.
Well, Mark, I want to thank you very much for being with me today. Please give out your website where people can contact you.
Oh, I'd love to. It's markcongress2020.com. markcongress2020.com. And if you get a chance, do watch the congressional address. I think it explains a lot. And hopefully, if anyone's from Georgia listening, you can fully support our campaign. That would be great.
Mark could be the only one running for Congress that feels this way, that has these belief systems which are most positive, solution-oriented. And I would think that even moving to Georgia so you can vote for him might be a good idea, because we need to make some changes, and we have someone who wants to do that. So everyone who's listening today can go to his website, okay, and see what he has to say about it. I want to thank you so much for being with us, Mark, and come back again. Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year to you. 2020, right?
Yeah.
We should all have perfect vision in 2020, as the numerals would imply.
Right. All right. Many blessings. Have a fantastic new year, and we'll talk soon. Take good care.
That sounds good. Thanks for having me on, Dr. Dale. You know how much I love and respect you.
Thank you so much. I feel the same. You take good care. All right. So, everyone, I want to take a little break now and just share with you something magical that's happening in my life. And there's a new movie called Beyond the Secret, The Awakening. You've heard about The Secret. You've watched everybody has watched The Secret, seen the movie, has the CD, has the book. They have little cards, like daily cards that you pull up about different sayings and different ways and belief systems to change your life. Okay. Now, what we've done is taken it to the next level. And it's called Beyond the Secret, The Awakening. And when I was asked for an interview, so they asked to interview me about wellness, I thought this was really perfect because that was totally overlooked in Beyond the Secret. Okay, if you are wanting to be successful and you don't feel good, it's a lot harder to do it. So creating optimal wellness will increase your vibration so that you can actually create what you want in your life. Now, the movie is scheduled to be released January 23rd. There's a red carpet event in Universal City Studio, and there's a luncheon that you can also attend to speak with me and all of the other presenters on this Beyond the Secret. Okay, and you can find that information on our website. There's a luncheon and there's a red carpet event. So I want to invite all of our listeners to go to wellnesscenter.net and look at the little thumbnail video. Click on it and you'll see the trailer. It basically offers you ways to increase your vibration so you can attract what you want. And what I do is I add the part of becoming healthy and well. And this changes your vibration like nothing I have ever seen. I mean, that's the way to change your vibration, is to become healthy, become vital, become vibrant. All right. So I want you to check that out and let me know how you feel about it. You can always contact me through Facebook or our website, wellnesscenter.net. So it's an exciting time for me, having the opportunity once again to help humanity and teach people how to increase their vibration, which I basically have been talking about and working patients with that in that avenue for the last 30 plus years. So now we've got it in a movie, and it finishes off that whole idea of attracting the belief, what you believe. So if you want to attract what you believe positive and you want to attract it, you have to be vibrationally at a level where the thing you're looking for is looking for you. Okay? And that's as simple as I can put it. Go to my website. It's called Beyond the Secret, The Awakening. I hope to see you on the red carpet. Come to the luncheon or just come to the red carpet event. Either way, make yourself known. It's January 23rd, and it's in Universal City, Studio City, California. All right? So we want to continue with our discussion today, and we want to thank Mark so much for coming on the show today. I have known Mark for many, many years, and he wants to get this message into Congress because we have not heard from one of them anything about natural medicine, including the Republican and Democratic Party and the people running for president in the Democratic Party who want universal health care. And to me, this is a really big sham. If this is universal health care and the big pharma controls everything and you have to go there, okay, we're going to be worse off than 750,000 people a year dying. It's going to get worse because people are going to only have that as a choice, like it is today in hospitals. Okay. Now what we have is the ability to choose our own doctor, pay for it out of our own pocket. Some private healthcare companies will pay for chiropractic and acupuncture, etc. Okay. But you won't find that on Medicare in most of it. All right. So we need to have solutions that include ways to heal our body permanently. And that solution includes education. And that's what we do here every week. So tune in every week and look at every week, look at the week before, learn what you need to learn and pass it along. Now, they're not all on Facebook Live, but they are all on iHeart, Amazon Alexa, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, and you can find Natural Health Radio everywhere, including my website, wellnesscenter.net. So, and my YouTube channel as well. So we want to make sure I'm doing this to help humanity because the government is not, and I don't mean to say that in a negative way. I'm just saying that in a very truthful way. We want to learn how to find the cause of the disease and solutions for curing the disease. Traditional medicine does not cure unless it's something that's mechanical, where you lost, they're putting on an arm, they're doing something mechanical with the body. Okay. All right. But other than that degenerative disease, we need to understand that we need education, solutions, and that's what all of you are doing here today. It's New Year's Eve, and we're having this little healthcare extravaganza today, and I brought to you Mark 2020, Mark Congress 2020. Go to his website and check it out because I've known Mark for years, and he could probably be the only congressman that I know that I could trust. So vote for him. He lives in Georgia, and we need to get somebody that's going to think about us, right, in a positive way, trying to make some changes, all right? So we understand the reality here is that other countries have natural medicine in their healthcare system because the government includes it, because it is the most affordable way of treating someone and curing them. In other words, there's no big pharma. In Switzerland, Germany, France, Portugal, there's no big pharma that controls everything. They do not control people. Okay, the government controls, and they actually have people in the government that love natural medicine and know that it works, and they respect the fact that homeopathy has been around for 200 years. It's very effective, extremely effective, and it has zero side effects, unlike traditional medicine. It's used every day in hospitals in Europe and other countries besides Europe, so like India, okay, which has 115 homeopathic hospitals that only use homeopathy. What you might think of as a third world country is, I call, an evolved country, because the people that live there have homeopathic medicine and it's government run. So we know that it's possible. We know what could be done. I have been to India. Everything I'm telling you is from seeing it myself, not only hearing about it, not only studying it, but visually seeing it. Okay? And it's a shocker. So if you go to Germany, today and you go walk down a street, any street in any city, you'll find apotheques. Apotheques are pharmacies, and they include one side of the window in the front, storefront, one side says homeopathy, and the other side says allopathic medicine, which is drugs. There are both the choices there, and if you walk in without going to a doctor, and if you say to the pharmacist, I have a health issue, let's say I have arthritis or cancer or Parkinson's disease, whatever it may be, or Alzheimer's, they will say, do you want allopathic medicine or do you want homeopathic medicine? And if you say, what have you got with homeopathic medicine for that disease? They will just bring out on a tray everything they have that works for that without going to a doctor. It's called freedom. It's called your health freedom. Okay? When I saw that over and over, going into many different pharmacies, talking to pharmacists about what they do and how they work with people that come in, I was in shock as to how bad, in my opinion, medicine is today. Because traditional medicine, and they will tell you in the apotheques, now homeopathy is known to cure. Traditional medicine, Band-Aid, cover up, handles some symptoms, but no curing, right? Which one would you choose? So what we have to do is to, in our minds, create what we want to experience. We focus on the positive. We create what we want to experience. And that is hospitals and a healthcare system in the United States that offers natural medicine as a choice, okay? Including in pharmacies, with pharmacists offering choices. All right? So that's what I would like to see for the United States. The way to make it happen is to see it, feel it, believe it, and raise yourself at a vibration where we all will attract that. A good way to start that process is to get Mark Congress 2020, to get him elected so that he can at least put the ideas out and get the process started. And he will do that, just that. Mark has been an advocate for natural medicine ever since I have met him so many years ago. He has been a person who has been involved in that whole field in one way or another and has lived his life that way. So I would say that's the kind of person we need to start the process, because the people we have now, no matter how green they are, they're not going there, because money goes into their pocket from the big pharma, or in some way or another, whatever you want to call it. And that is not what we're looking for. We're looking for someone who says no to that and kicks it back and says, this is not what we want. We do not want to be controlled. Okay, we want natural medicine. So anyway, we have about 6 minutes left. And in that period of time, I think we've been through this topic many, many times. And today we got to a different level with it, because I actually found out that Mark was running for Congress. And I thought, what an absolute great idea to bring him on, because he's speaking our language. And then what we have to do is we're going to take another little break, and then we're going to come back with some food for New Year's food. So thewellnesscenter.net has the movie trailer on it, which you can watch. It has my infomercial on there from years ago for my NuFem product, which has all the research for homeopathic hormone rejuvenation. It's the NuFem and EndoPure. Homeopathic hormone rejuvenation is discussed, including all of the doctors, their testimonials and before and after research is actually shown, the actual before and after tests without the person's name. You can see all of that. Go check that out. Check out my videos on YouTube. And please let us know how we can help you. That is why I'm here, so to make a difference. And I know that you do too, because you're here today. It's New Year's. We have 5 minutes left. So go to wellnesscenter.net. Now, if you have it in your heart, if you have a passion for helping others, then go to the California College of Natural Medicine website, www.traditionalnaturopathy.com, and learn about the trainings that are entry level, or we have continuing education trainings that you can be involved with, that you can take, that you can get a certificate in. Okay, so it's a legal California College of Natural Medicine state licensed school since 1995, and we have entry level and some residential trainings for you, so check it out. One of my favorite trainings there is the neurophysical reprogramming. It's in the holistic health practitioner training, and that, my dear, is residential, and that one I teach myself. It's a technology called neurophysical reprogramming. It is a way to handle all the belief systems that are sabotaging your optimal vibrational frequency to attract what you want. Because if you are not at the vibrational frequency to attract what you're looking for, okay, it could be because of sabotaging belief systems. And I can teach you how to handle that. Okay, you need to go to www.traditionalnaturopathy.com and take a look and see if the holistic health practitioner training is something that you're interested in. We also have clinical nutrition. We have homeopathic medical practitioner, which is also my second favorite training. And then we have the naturopathic practitioner training. So we have to train people to help humanity. And that is another solution that I offer you today. So in getting back to food, using food as medicine, and getting through the new year in a way where we can definitely help ourselves, because through the new year, we have New Year's Eve, which is coming up tonight. Now, what are you going to do for New Year's Eve? All right. And for New Year's Eve, we need to understand that limit ourselves to alcohol. If we're drinking alcohol, try to drink organic alcohol and have a couple of glasses at the most, or one glass. I mean, you don't need to even drink alcohol. Martinelli's organic apple cider is amazing. And you can get that and use that instead of for a toast instead of alcohol, should you choose to do that. That's up to you. But I mean, you can choose organic wine. It's available and it's good, So, and the other thing as far as food, think about what you're putting in your body. Eat healthfully, and the most important thing is to spend your time with loved ones, somebody that you really enjoy, have fun, and laugh till you can't stand up anymore, instead of drinking until you can't stand up anymore. So Daryl liked that one. Laugh until you cry with a good friend, your best friend, okay? Instead of drinking until you can't stand up for more. You'll feel better in the morning. So I want to thank you so much for being with me today. I want to thank my guest, Mark. And we will go to his website so you can check him out. And if you have any messages, I'm sure Mark would have a Facebook page by now. You can check that out. Mark Congress 2020. And please have a beautiful New Year's Eve, and many blessings to you. Wishing you the best that you can ever have, and that this is the year for all of your dreams to continue, to evolve, and to come true. Many blessings, and I'll see you next year. Bye for now.